Well, hello and welcome to the Cyber Safety News Show here on the Safety News YouTube channel. My name is Adam Blue, and I am here to deliver the latest in cybersecurity news. And hopefully from that, you can kind of get an idea of what's going on and maybe ways you could protect yourself. But for this week's news, some interesting things we're going to look at. One, a very popular communication app called Discord had another hack, but in a different way, and we'll get into that. Also, an update from last week's video when we talked about at that Defcon conference, there was this bounty for hackers, people to hack into a government satellite. And we've actually got an outcome from that, so we'll dive into that. Also, getting a look at a response of a corporation when they're under attack and what they tell employees. This is Geico. I think it'd be very interesting to see what they communicate to their employees when a hack does occur. And let's see, anything else? About 300 independent retailers that got a hack. In fact, let's start on that one here. Let me switch over to that. Exclusive. 300 independent retailers affected by cyber attack. The attack took place on Sunday, August 13th, and caused technical difficulties with some of Swan's back office systems. Now, this is an IT supplier called Swan Retail. Those affected by the breach include a range of independent retailers across sectors, including fashion, department stores, furniture and homewares, garden centers, pets, outdoors, sports stadiums. That's crazy. So, the biggest takeaway from something like this that I find very interesting is that there can be a company that's targeted in a hack, whether that's taking down their systems, that's stealing their data, but that company itself could have a lot of business with a whole bunch of other companies, different verticals, different industries, and that could cause a wide-ranging effect. And that's another scary aspect when it comes to security and cybersecurity. Do you as a company have all your eggs in one basket, or are you kind of spreading around your resources? I find this one to be very interesting because it's just an example of a third party that could really be affecting a whole bunch of bigger companies, and that's actually what's going to be going on with Discord. Moving on, so this is about that hacking crew from Defcon. Let me just actually jump into this. They won $50,000 doing this. So this year's Hack-A-Sat competition challenged teams to hack into an actual satellite in orbit. The U.S. Air Force Moonlighter, which was launched especially for the event, was the first real satellite the hackers were permitted to target. Aerospace Corporation and the U.S. Air Force Research Laboratory developed the small CubeSat known as Moonlighter. Interesting that the satellite that small is called a CubeSat. That's pretty interesting, and that's a picture right there. Let's see, called Moonlighter, launched on June 5th, 2023 on a SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket alongside a cargo payload for the International Space Station. 5 teams participated in the challenge with Hackeroni, a team of 5 Italian cyber research firms members, taking first place this year. $50,000 was awarded for the first place. So, first thing, they're an Italian team called Macaroni. Hackeroni. That's brilliant, isn't it? That's pretty funny. Poland Can Into Space, a cyber research team, took second place and received $30,000. In addition, the combined British-American team JMPFS, that looks more like a hacker name if you ask me, took third place and received $20,000. So it's interesting how much money is spent for people to conduct what is considered criminal activity, but doing it within the context of more of cyber safety, especially for a government. So, you wonder how one acquires these skills in the first place. I'm sure there are some programs out there where you can legitimately hack into things, I guess, to learn the skill set. But also, I feel like you would have to conduct illegal activities to get to that place in the first place. And, I guess there's a morality thing here, because while hacking can be considered illegal, maybe it depends what you're doing at the end. I'm not condoning the hacking, but I'm sure there are many people out there with hacking skills that have been putting it to good use. And in fact, this end result is just that, being able to figure out really how to get in and hack into a satellite. This helps the U.S. Air Force so they know how to put up better safeguards, or maybe themselves how to hack other satellites. So I find that interesting. In moving on, we're going to take a look at, this has to do with Geico. So you might be familiar with Geico. They're a huge insurance company. So a Geico spokesperson confirmed with 7 News that Move IT, an outside software program that Geico uses to transfer data to third-party vendors, was involved in a data breach. Move It told 7 News that the company disclosed a vulnerability on May 31st and deployed a patch the same day. So what's interesting about that is yet another instance where it's a third party that it was used to get into the main company structure. We saw that again with these 300 independent retailers all affected by that one company that got hacked. And now we're seeing where a hack was done on this third-party vendor that helped them get into Geico. So this is what hackers are doing sometimes to get to where they need to. They will target kind of the middleman. They'll target an outside party, a third-party vendor that might not have their security up to snuff, but use that to get to the bigger fish. But, you know, it's very interesting to see this. We have Ziwei Fu. Apologies if I've mispronounced that name. This is a chief information security officer for Geico. And I just thought it'd be interesting to see, what does a chief information officer, specifically security officer, so they actually have a role for security, what they say to their employees, their organization when something occurs. So this is what he said. We were recently made aware of a security issue involving Move It, a popular outside software program Geico and many other businesses use to transfer data to third-party vendors. We immediately implemented measures to address the issue, and at this time, we have no indication that any compromises have occurred in Geico systems. So we have no indication that any compromises have occurred in Geico systems. Our cybersecurity team has been in close contact with our outside vendors who also use this data transfer software and are closely monitoring with our partners to find out if any data they have from Geico has been compromised. If we receive confirmation any data has been compromised, we will work to ensure they are sending out the proper notification. Out of an abundance of caution, we recommend associates take action to prevent bad actors from attempting to use their personal information. One way to protect your personal information is by freezing your credit. Now, we see this a lot, and we've seen this in the past when companies have had to communicate to others that there's been a hack. There's these, the next step, and this is something to keep in mind, if you know that it's possible your data, some sensitive data of yours has been stolen or acquired, that could be credit cards, social. Check with the credit bureaus, put a freeze temporarily, or just check your credit scores every once in a while. And this is exactly what he's asking. I think that's a good approach. There's really not much else you can say because really anyone could have their data exfiltrated at any time. It's just good that Geico's getting on top of it with some communication. That's probably what we want to be seeing more out of these organizations. A lot of times we hear that and a hack has occurred of some kind, and it's not until months, maybe a year later, that it's actually disclosed. And who knows what could have happened in between the moment of the hack and when it's announced and communicated to everyone. So this is probably a good standard practice moving forward for anyone that happens to have personal data of others that could have possibly been breached. Yeah, so good on them for that. And again, third party. There's a running theme here. You know, what we've seen so far is a lot of times it's these outside third party vendors that have the weaker security. They are smaller, but provide a service that's highly needed for business to business sort of transactions, not necessarily consumer grade, but business to business. And then that's when that's how hackers will get in. They'll just use the third party. And that leads us to our main one today. And this is from Discord.io. So Discord, a huge communication application, which it's very similar to things like Slack or Teams. And it started in the gaming space. And that's where a lot of, I think, cutting edge technology starts. It's in the gaming sector. But it's actually bigger than that. Discord now is used across many other verticals. Many other companies use Discord just for the means of communication. Midjourney, a very popular AI program, uses the functionality of Discord to be the place to communicate and run the prompts for the AI images. So Discord.io confirms a breach after hacker steals data of 760,000 users. Okay, so that's nearly 1 million. That's a lot. And this isn't even Discord itself. This is this third-party app. And actually, let's get into that information because this is what's interesting here. So the Discord.io custom invite server is temporarily shut down after suffering a data breach, exposing the information of 760,000 members. That's close to 1 million. And what this is a custom invite server. It's not an official Discord site, but a third-party service allowing server owners to create custom invites to their channels. Most of the community was built around the service's Discord server with over 14,000 members. Yesterday, a person known as Akira began offering the Discord.io database for sale on the new breached hacking forums. As proof of the theft, the threat actor shared 4 user records from the database. For those unfamiliar with the new breached, it is the rebirth of a popular cybercrime forum known for the sale and leaking of data stolen in data breaches. So here we go. This is an example of the communication that a hacker uses to show, hey, look, I have hacked. Here's the proof. It's almost like they are announcing what they have done. Now, it could be a couple things going on here. It could be that this person isn't trying to do something nefarious, but they actually were able to locate a way that they were able to gather this data, and they are posting it. He said just post of 4 users out of the near million. So really, it's just a sampling. Yeah, they could turn around and decide to sell this, or this could be a way to kind of communicate, hey, look, there's a problem here. This data can be easily exfiltrated. According to the threat actor, the database contains the information for 760,000 Discord IO users and includes the following types of information. So if we look into this data here, it might be hard at first to really understand what's actually being gathered. A lot of these terms, the text is what's in the code. So we have like user ID. That might not be that big of a deal. Icon, again, not a big deal. But auth ID, could that be related to the means of logging in? So could that be one way to get in? We have administrator. So now we get email, name, username, password, tokens. All of these can be used for logging into a user's account. But does logging into something like a custom invite server really do anything? Well, if we look at what else is there, we have address, date, API. So if it's connected to something else that might have that data. We even see things like last payment and expiration. So this could just be the date of the last payment and expiration for that. But who knows if that has something to do with an expiration on a payment card or payment type. So again, this is not good because this is information that could be used in a phishing attack. You get enough information from someone that could be used somewhere else. You could take the username and password. A hacker could use a password spray attack against other services, other programs to potentially get in. The most sensitive information in the breach is a member's username, email, address, billing address. Okay, this is what we talked about, small number of people. So it's saying it's only a small number of people. Salted and hashed password, small number of people, and Discord ID. This information is not private and can be obtained by anyone sharing a server with you. Its inclusion in the breach, does, however, mean that other people might be able to link your Discord account to a given email address. You know what? I got distracted there a second ago, and you know why? It's because I, like many others, have been getting phone calls that do say fraud risk. So what a coincidence. Doing the show, been getting hammered with these calls, which I'm sure my phone number was taken in an attack just like this. But anyway, however, it means that other people might be able to link your Discord account to a given email address. So this is where that the data that is gathered then can be used in accordance with another sort of app, a service, whatever, in order to get in. Discord.io has suffered a data breach. We are stopping all operations for the foreseeable future. Reads a message on the service's Discord server. For more information, please refer to. So yeah, if you happen to be using Discord.io, I guess you can go to that Discord server and check out what they have to say about it. But that is kind of scary because it just means in some way there wasn't strong enough security. I mean, sometimes you just can't help it and, be a part of that hack, which kind of leads to the main point, I think, of today's episode is you could be doing everything you can to protect your data. But if you're working with third parties, other companies that have access to your systems, who knows what their security is like? there should be some sort of standard, and there kind of is some standards out there for this. Actually, there's a lot of regulatory standards that people need to follow, but I guess when working with a third-party vendor, third-party source, that needs to be checked. It needs to be checked that these companies are following these security standards and that they have the right security in place so that your data is protected even more. Because the more you have your business connected with other services, other third parties, that just widens the surface attack area of any sort of either data breach or an attack to take down your systems, depending on what the attacker is trying to get out of it. So anyway, that is it for today's episode. I found that very interesting. Have you been involved in some sort of attack that had to do with a third party? It was outside your control. If so, let me know in the comments below. Also, let me know if you have any questions about anything else I could bring up during the cyber safety news segments, or if you have any other stories around cybersecurity that you've come across. But anyway, thanks for watching. I'm Adam Blue. Please subscribe if you haven't, and we will talk later.